hope you guys are all okay and all good. Welcome to another video. My name's George Lester, for those of you who don't know. Feel free to subscribe down below if you're not already. And this is my best books of 2018. My faves. Eep! I hope you guys are all okay and all good. I love these kinds of videos. This evening I have spent my time tidying and also watching other people's favourite books of 2018 and seeing that like I don't really cross over with anybody, and that's fine. That's what this is all about. Everyone has different favourites, and that's why we love books. Favourites and best books are always a bit weird because obviously it's always, oh my god, I have a knot in my hair, ow. Obviously it's all opinion based and everyone's gonna have a different one. So I apologise if my favourite 5 of 2018 are not the same as your favourite 5. Part of the game is that we all like different things. So no hate, all love. And these are my 5 favourites that were published in 2018. I've been very like strict with myself, as I seem to be every year when I do this, because I want to talk to you about books that I read this year that came out in this year, and there will be another video, hopefully, where I talk about my favourite books that I read in 2018 that were not released in 2018, because backlist sometimes gets forgotten, and I feel like I read such a varied amount of books. I sort of read what the hell I want to read when I want to read it. So with that in mind, there are some books that I read that I feel deserve a little bit of love that weren't published in the year of our Lord Brittany 2018. So I need to share those with you too, if that makes sense. And I just want to do them in separate videos. I just want to keep these things separate. I just want to keep them separate. I suppose if I was being really sensible, I'd put all of them in one video and not differentiate between like when it was published, but I've made my bed. I've made my bookish bed and I'm going to lie in it, god damn it. So the first book that I'm going to talk to you about today is The Last Romeo by Justin Myers. This is probably my favourite book of 2018. I posted it on Instagram not too long ago that I think it was my favourite book of the year because I've just not been able to stop thinking about it. Like, after I read it, well, I listened to the audiobook. Like, so they did a thing where they released the audiobook and the ebook before they released the paperback. I don't know what the rationale is. I'm not a marketing person, but it worked because it was like, well, I can't have a physical version of this book. I'm going to have the audiobook. And I did. And I listened to it like crazy. And I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Like, it was so funny and cringy and romantic and just really lovely, and not like any queer book that I'd read before. I don't know, it was just something different that I wasn't expecting, and I think I loved it more than I thought I would. Not in a mean way, but in a way that it was like, I thought I would love it because I was like, this sounds right up my street. It's about a guy called James who is a celebrity gossip blogger. He hates his job and he has just come out of a 6-year relationship with a guy called Adam, and he's getting himself back on the dating scene. He's encouraged by his best friend to start online dating, which he does, and then he starts blogging about it, talking about all the creepy weirdness that he experiences while going on dates in London and like the single life. I think it's loosely based on what he used to do before he unanonymized himself and stopped just being the guy liner and started being Justin Myers. It's fantastic. It's so funny. It's razor sharp. It's brilliant. I loved it with my whole heart. There's a full review of it on my channel, probably where I remember a little bit more about what the book was about and go into a little bit more detail about why I loved it so much. I'll leave a link to that in the description box below, which you can go and check out. It's fantastic. The book, also the video, but the book mostly. I really, really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait for what Justin writes next, which I do believe is coming out next year. So it'll be on my most anticipated list. So that's a preview of another video you're going to get at some point. My most anticipated reads of 2019. That's one of them. Faux show. Yeah. Next up is a book called White Rabbit Red Wolf by Tom Pollock. This is the proof version because I lent my finished copy to Jess Rigby and I've not got it back yet. White Rabbit Red Wolf is a tautly plotted mathematical thriller about a boy called Peter Blankman, who is a mathematical prodigy who has panic attacks, who has to face his greatest fears when his mother is stabbed before an award ceremony. He is dragged into this world of espionage and the absolute horror of this like twisted thing that has been happening in his life. I can't even tell you too much about it without giving away tons of the plot, but it's so brilliant. I read this in approximately 3 sittings on the way to Edinburgh, at breakfast in Edinburgh, and on my way back from Edinburgh. It is absolutely outstanding. I've never read any of Tom Pollock's books before. He had a trilogy of books out called The City's Sun, which was a fantasy trilogy, and this is, I believe, I think they are classified as YA, and this is a YA thriller. He has another one coming out with Walker Books in 2019, I believe. It's so fantastic. I couldn't put it down and found myself doing that thing that you do when you're reading a book where you have to kind of stop every now and again just to be like, what the f is going on and how brilliant is this and how has he done this? It's So clever, like gasping at pages and gasping at what's going on right to the very end. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what Tom writes next either. I think it's going to be fantastic, whatever it is. I know that people heard about it at a Walker Books event, which I couldn't go to because I had classes, but it's so great. I really, really recommend it. I think it's fantastic. If you like thrillers, like YA thrillers are having a time at the moment. Stuff like One of Us is Lying that is doing really well. The One Memory of Flora Banks by Emily Barr, which I do believe is a thriller. I've not read it, so I don't know, but I think it's a thriller. But that kind of thing is doing really well at the moment, and this is brilliant. And if you've missed out on it in 2018, shame on you. It's so good. It's come out in the US as something else. I think it's published as something else in America, but I don't know what it is. I'm Googling it right now to find out, because I can't just leave you not knowing these things. I feel like it's called like This Book Is a Lie. She's almost there. She's gonna get it. She's gonna tell you. This Story Is a Lie is what it's published as in the US. If you're looking for it in America, it's published as This Story Is a Lie. It is published by Soho Teen in the US, who also published Adam Silvera over there, or did. So if you're in any way intrigued about this book and you're one of my American viewers, it's called This Story Is a Lie. It's brilliant. It will blow your mind. That's what it did to me. I feel like it was like mind-bendingly good. Like, I think I said it to, I think I tweeted Tom like straight after. I was like, what the hell have you done? How have you done this? This is brilliant. But yeah, this too. Fantastic book. Absolute cracker. Absolute belter. Can't recommend it hard enough. I mean, how many times am I going to say recommend in this video? Count it. Put it below. The next book on this list is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This was one of my most anticipated of the year, for sure. I remember when this got announced, and I was talking to my friend Jess about it, because we'd just recently read the Curse Workers trilogy, which is one of the best trilogies of all time. Highly recommend it if you've not read it before. Blooming fantastic trilogy that is what made me so excited about this book. Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I remember when it got announced, and both me and my friend Jess at work were like, 2018? That's so far away, and now it's nearly 2019. So this came out at the beginning of this came out in January. I read it so fast because I had to, because oh my god, Holly Black, and oh my god, new Holly Black book, which is weird because there's books of hers that I've not read, but I was really excited for this. This is beyond fantastic. I loved it so much. There's a full review of it on my channel, which I'll leave a link to in the description box below. The second one comes out in January, which is called The Wicked King, which I'm very excited for. The Cruel Prince is about a girl called Jude who at the beginning of the book is dragged into the fairy world along with her two sisters by their long lost dad, and it is in this world she's mocked for being merely mortal and for not being one of the Fae. And it is in this world as Jude grows older that she realises she's going to have to start engaging in the courtroom politics of the world of the Fae if she is going to survive there. It's so great, it's so well plotted, twists right to the end. Need the sequel immediately. Only have to wait 7 days for it. But this is such a fantastic book. It absolutely slayed my life. There's a full video where I talk all about it, and I'll leave a link to it in the description box below. I can't wait to see what happens next. It also reminded me that I have the Spiderwick Chronicles sitting on my shelf that I got sent by those lovelies over at Simon & Schuster, which I now want to read again because Holly Black is a marvel. She's wonderful. So this. Yay! Next up we have Jack of Hearts and Other Parts by L.C. Rosen. This is another weird one, much like The Last Romeo by Justin Myers, in that it's not coming out in the UK until the 7th of February 2019, but it's already published in the US, so technically it is a 2018 book, which is why it's in this list. Jack of Hearts and Other Parts has come out as an ebook and an audiobook already, and it comes out as a paperback in February in the UK. It is already out in the US. I love this book for a billion reasons. I think it's freaking fantastic, like just absolutely astounding. Couldn't stop listening to the audiobook. I thought it was brilliant. Think Love, Simon, but swearier and with more sex. This is a story about a boy called Jack Rothman who is 17 years old. He loves partying, he loves makeup, he loves having sex with boys, and he is not ashamed of that fact. He is a self-proclaimed slut, and he uses that word. I'm not being judgy. He is a self-proclaimed slut and he loves it. He loves having sex. And because of that, he is a hot topic at his school for gossip and people call him a slut a lot. He starts writing an online sex column for his friend's blog, and at the same time he starts getting love notes from a secret admirer that slowly start to get more and more sinister. They know where he is, they know who he's hooking up with, and it all starts to get a bit creepy. So that's where the Love, Simon element comes in that there's sort of a who is this person, but not in a happy like, who's blue? We want them to be together. It's like, who is this secret admirer? I hope they don't kill Jack. It's so great. It's really funny. It's really sex positive. It deals with sex in a really great way, in a way that I've not seen many YA books do before. I'm not saying it's across the board. I've not read everything, but it's a fantastic book. I highly recommend it if you're looking for something in that sort of Love, Simon vein. But like I said, it's got that sexiness about it. It's got that sex aspect about it, where it talks about sex in a really open and honest way. And Jack always has safe sex, which is the thing that I only noticed like halfway through the book. I was like, you never see the sex, if that makes sense. You never see it, but what you do see is often the aftermath, where they'll mention like pulling off a condom, and I was like, I mean, it's promoting safe sex in a way that's not like in your face promoting safe sex. It's just like, he always has safe sex. I don't know, it's a weird thing that I noticed, and I was like, that's a good thing, good for putting that in. But it's brilliant. The book is about Jack trying to figure out who this person is, at the same time as trying to live his life, because this person is judging his life, which is why their notes start getting more aggressive. They're judging who he is and the way that he conducts himself, and it's trying to figure out who the person is that's doing that. It's so good. I didn't guess who it was. There were several people who I thought it was, and I was wrong. And I love when books do that to me. I love when I'm kind of thinking, I know who it is, and then it's like, oh wait, no, it's not. I love when a book does that to me, and it was brilliant for that reason. I recommend you go and buy it. If you're in the US, it's already out. If you're in the UK, listen to the audiobook. It's so brilliantly read, or read the ebook if you're that way inclined, or wait till the 7th of February. Either way, it's a fantastic book, and I highly recommend it. So there's that word again, recommend. And last but by no means least, The Stormkeeper's Island by Catherine Doyle. I haven't read a lot of middle grade in 2018, but I read this one because I saw so much hype about it and so many people who absolutely loved it. So I don't work at Macmillan anymore, but I remember when this came in on submission, and I loved it so much, and I was desperate to read the rest of it ever since then. And when proofs were going out, I was very cheeky, and I DM'd the publicist and was like, hey Emma, can I have one? And she sent me one, and then I got an invite to the launch, and I went to the launch, and it was great, and I bought a copy because wow, it's a fantastic book. It's so great. This is brimming with magic and just sheer brilliance. I can't wait for the sequel that comes out next year. I think it's next year. This is a story of a boy called Fionn Boyle, who is spending the summer on Arranmore Island with his grandfather and his sister. And there is a lot of magic on Arranmore Island, and while Fionn's grandfather appears to be an eccentric and secretive old man, it turns out he is the Stormkeeper of Arranmore Island. He has these little candles where if you light them, it takes you back to the moment in time that they came from, but they also take a toll on the person that is using them, and the island is ready to choose a new Stormkeeper. And Fionn, being on this island, has woken up this like ancient evil that needs to be vanquished, and he has to figure out a way to do that. It's so great, and it sounds way better than I made it sound. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think I made a full video about this, or if not, I've mentioned it in another video, and if I did, I'll link it down below so you can see me talk about it in a way that makes sense. But it's so brilliant. It's one of the best middle grade books that I have ever read. I think it's so fantastic. It has that kind of cross appeal as well. Like, I'm 21 years old, so I in theory shouldn't be reading books like this, but it has an appeal that moves upwards, and it's brilliant for children and grown-ups alike. I recommend that you give it a read. It's so fantastic. I do believe it's already out in the US as well. I adored this book. I think it's so fantastic. I can't wait for the sequel. I think it's gonna be so fantastic. So this too. And there we are. So those, with Jack of Hearts and The Last Romeo, are my favourite books of 2018, published in 2018. Absolutely loved them. It was really hard to pick. I didn't read as many 2018 releases as I wanted to. Like, I sort of ran out of time. I sort of ran out of like space in my life to read books, which is bad. And there are definitely books that I've missed that I wish I'd read this year that I haven't. But these are the ones from the ones that I've read that came out in 2018. These are the ones that I really truly loved. And I hope that there is at least one book in this that appeals to you that you would like to read. I think they're fantastic, and I'll leave links to them in the description box below so you can go and find out more. And those are my favourites of 2018. Let me know in the comments box below if you've read any of these and what you think of them, and also what your favourite books of 2018 are. I would love to hear from you. I always do. I love replying to comments, even though I don't do it as often as I should. I really enjoy it. If you liked this video, don't forget to put a thumb on it and to subscribe down below if you want to see more. I have more videos that sort of wrapping up 2018 and setting us off for 2019 coming your way. I love each and every one of your faces, and I'll speak to you as soon as I can. Bye!